Greetings, Invader scum. This is Pincognito, aka Pinko. I'm here with some thoughts on the Dark Souls 1 Remaster network test and the Dark Souls 1 Remaster in general. This is my very first invasion in the network test, which is also my very first Red Eye Orb invasion in Dark Souls 1 ever. For real. And I was pretty curious to see how kind of my Dark Souls 3 invasion experience, which is pretty substantial at this point, and then kind of my slightly above average critical fishing skills, not that much above average, but a little bit, would translate. And I think the answer is going to translate pretty well. The basics are the same. Obviously the chains, considerably simpler in Dark Souls 1, and Jesus, effective if the other person doesn't know how to defend themselves. But just in general, I wanted to give a little bit more background about my personal experience with Dark Souls 1 and kind of my initial thoughts on the remaster in this video. So I bought Demon Souls on the first day of its US release. I've been playing the Souls games for a very long time. But until Dark Souls 3, I was primarily a PvEer and Sunbro, really. Although in Demon Souls, they were just blue phantoms. There were no Sunbros. So, the Dark Souls 3 was the first Souls game where I really took the time to try to learn the PvP and get good, as the saying goes. In Dark Souls 1, I did some forest invasions, I did some grave lording, but I was very much just kind of a casual PvPer. Still enjoyed it, but I didn't know any tech. I mean, that I couldn't have pulled off the chain I did in the first invasion here, back in the first time I played Dark Souls 1. In Dark Souls 2, I did a decent amount of invasions as a Bell Bro and a Rat Bro, but that was about it. It really wasn't until Dark Souls 3 that I really started to use the Red Eye Orb a lot and really get into that side of the game. And now it's my favorite part by a mile. So I'm really excited about the remaster because it gives me another chance to use the Red Eye Orb to do invasions in Dark Souls 1 in a game that's alive, right? Now I know there's been a dedicated community in Dark Souls 1 for years, but I'm really talking more about a populated game where there's invasions to be had all over the place. That's just exciting. So I'm planning invaders for as many different areas of the game as I can think of. Trying to think of interesting lore builds for invasions and all that, all the stuff that I like to do. So I'm really excited about that. So the things like whether the graphics got upgraded as much as they could, whether they fixed what they should or fixed some things that they shouldn't have fixed, for me, those issues are really secondary, even tertiary. I'm just excited to have a populated game. That's the bottom line. And so I can forgive a lot. And I think, is this a cash grab game? Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty fair summation of what it is. But there's a lot of value in it for me. So this was a cool moment during the network test. Steve Peverson was streaming, as was every other, or many of the OG DS1 streamers and YouTubers. So I knew I was in a world of trouble here. My DS3 skills helped me a little bit, but not enough to take on someone of Peeves' caliber. But this was a fun little fight we had. He's using the Claymore offhand rapier setup, which I'm familiar with in DS3, but man, look at the animation on the offhand rapier. It's very hard to see, and in DS3 it's so exaggerated. We'll see here in a second. I make a very Dark Souls 3 play that gets me in a world of trouble. Yeah, I'm basically trying to bait attacks by moving in and out, but that was a useful lesson in do not turn your back. Do not turn your back to your opponent. You will get backstabbed. 100% you will get backstabbed. Here I was testing the infinite stun lock mechanic because there was still a lot of conversation about it at the time. Seems pretty damn certain it's in there, doesn't it? Yeah, so my experience was pretty similar to what other people have said, which is that infinite stun locks are definitely part of the game now. Definitely toggle escapes will be important as a result. Chain backstabs are obviously still in the game, so learning some fundamental escapes from that will also be useful. One of the things I was testing a little bit was my comfort level with fast versus medium rolls. That's kind of one thing I've been thinking about quite a bit when I'm trying to design invaders for the game. So I spent a lot of the first night with fast roll and a lot of the second night with mid roll or medium roll. And much to my surprise, I kind of preferred medium roll. You can see this guy's fast rolling, but it's getting him in some trouble. He's trying to use it to get a spacing or a position advantage on me, but it's so easy. It is so easy to get mid-roll backstabs in Dark Souls 1. I mean, they happen accidentally a lot. They're much harder to do in Dark Souls 3, but you can get mid-roll backstabs so easily in Dark Souls 1 that it is really a dangerous positioning tactic a lot of times. So I'm kind of preferring the mid-roll, honestly, at this point. Poise and a mid-roll, I definitely preferred over low poise and a fast roll, which were kind of the only options in the network test. So this is Adam Barker. He was hanging out a little bit in the stream while I was doing the network test, and we happened to get this little co-invasion, which was awesome. So I wanted to show that off a little bit. Here, I think we're just trying to make sure. I was hanging back because I wanted to make sure I didn't pin Adam between me and the party. Here I come rushing out, immediately get backstabbed. Fortunately, don't endure eternal embarrassment by dying within like the first 5 seconds. You can see how much space you need. He was about a half a second away from getting the backstab there, and I was miles away when I started to drink the Estus. But Adam and I, employing classic invader tactics of divide and conquer. GG Adam. That was fun. And so I did run into a decent number of co-op groups. Seems very clear, unless they change things, that the remaster, in the remaster, the Red Eye Orb will not prioritize worlds with hosts, which is kind of a bummer, I think. I think even more so than Dark Souls 3, invasions against solo hosts are likely going to be a little too easy for fairly or even moderately skilled invaders. Just anyone that knows even a little bit of tech is going to just steamroll solo PvE hosts. But it does seem like that the Red Eye Orb does not prioritize co-op groups, at least based on what I was encountering. So, you know, that's just something to adapt to as well. So these guys, they were not particularly skilled. I didn't really feel any threat of backstabs that much, or more specifically backstab chains. I did run into a couple of other co-op groups where it was much tougher, where I think there were a couple of former DS3 duelists I recognized that were ganking, and there was at least one gank organized by a long-time Dark Souls 1 player. They were pretty nasty. And in those situations, escaping from the backstab chain was incredibly difficult. So that's going to be one thing that I think invaders are going to have to at least worry about a little bit. You know, your average invasion is not going to be 4 skilled players, particularly if you don't hang out in the forest all the time. But they'll exist, and I think those are going to be really difficult. Probably harder than they are on DS3, because of the backstab chain properties and just how difficult it is to escape it when you're basically surrounded on all sides. That point down looks absolutely ridiculous, by the way. It looks ridiculous. Anyway, I guess the conclusion is that I had a ton of fun. I had more fun than I thought I would. DS1 is kind of a clunky looking game at this point in time. You know, it looks way clunkier than like Bloodborne or DS3 in particular. But it doesn't feel as clunky when you're playing it. has a flow to it, has a rhythm to it that's appealing to me. And it was just a ton of fun. I really, really had a good time, even with just like the incredibly limited weapon selections we had, and, you know, kind of incredibly limited character setups we had. It was still so much fun, and I'm really looking forward to the remaster. And I'm really hoping a lot of DS3 invaders come over to the remaster too, because I think it would be fun for that community to continue to thrive and to have fun together. It's been fantastic in Dark Souls 3. So many fun people I've met doing invasions, and I really hope that carries over to Dark Souls 1. So I'm going to leave you with this last invasion, which was a really, really fun 4v2 I had during the first night of the network test. And it gave me kind of, I hope, a little window into kind of the possibilities of the remaster. Just a fun, lively invasion and a level in the game. That's really all I want. I'm just so excited about the possibility of invasions in Blighttown and the depths and Orlando and all that good stuff. It's just going to be fun. So yeah, I hope enjoy this last clip. And it does feature at the end just a beautiful, beautiful mechanic that's returning to us. Something that we haven't had in Dark Souls 3. And I'm so happy it's coming back. Take care, everybody. I'll see you, I hope, in the remaster. How am I not hitting him? Shit. Nice. No. GG. No, but questionable. Arcana was questioning whether the Black Knights could even summon at all. Because it didn't look like it. Oh, nice. No. GG. Don't you fog wall cheese me. God damn it. No. God bless you, Dark Souls. Yes. Yes. I'm so happy that's back. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I'm so happy that's back.